Don't forget that the big urban centers were really based around big, large distribution companies, and the retailers needed a certain amount of space. The average hypermarkets in those days was between 15 and 20,000 square meters. There would also be big box retail like the electricity stores, etc., etc. So it was very difficult to find something which was aesthetically pleasing, and also you were out in the field, so it didn't necessarily have to be. It was what was happening inside, not what was happening outside, which was the attraction. This is no longer the case today, and we are seeing some extremely innovative architecture. Some of it, shall we say, more sustainable than others, but we're seeing more and more innovative architecture on the outside of the shopping centres. We're also in the tendency of open-air shopping centres. No matter what climate, open air, open, closed, which gives a real sense of place, a real sense of community life yet again. We are recreating, in fact, streets. And so I think we have to sort of turn the page on some of the more, shall we say, banal constructions which were done in the 70s and the 80s. And we're going towards something which is much more sophisticated. And this sophistication is what the consumer is asking for. Even if they don't necessarily have the means to buy high luxury goods, they want to be able at least to have the experience of a destination. Retail is a destination today. We also have, of course, to think in terms of future retail methods, and there is, I don't say fight it, but there's also the need to continue to attract the consumer to your place, because it's just as easy to open up your computer and go tack, and buy things, whether it's at 3 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning or in the middle of the afternoon. It's much easier to do that than it is actually to go in the car or walk to. But if we've created the sense of place, if we've created the sense of destination, if we've created the feel-good factor, which means that people want to spend their money in our shopping centres, then that is what is the most important thing to do. What we are seeing are new approaches to retail. People are thinking in a different way. People are thinking about value. People are thinking about, do I really need this? The discount stores is an interesting, they were already interesting when they started to develop, but the Lidls and the Aldi's of this world, it's interesting to see who are shopping in those stores today. They are basically, one would think because it's cheap merchandise, they'll be going to the people who have less means. But in fact, they've become almost like some of the outlet stores, a means of a certain sense of pleasure. Because you bought your, I don't know, your tin of mushrooms for 50 cents of a euro, where if you bought it in the next door supermarket, it would be €1.50. It's a new way of looking at shopping. It's a new element which has come into the market. But you have to be careful that the consumer is, whether they're spending a lot of money or not a lot of money, they're still reasonably sophisticated. So you have to be very careful in the way these projects are developed. We're no longer in a situation where pile it up, sell it cheap, and put 60 tiles on the floor and paint the ceiling black and nobody will notice you've got your air ducts. This is finished, this is over. And you still do see some stores like that, and you realize as well that they are not successful at all, because the consumer is in the right to demand, no matter how much they're paying for their t-shirt, whether it's a white t-shirt at €1 or probably the same white t-shirt with a red label on the which is €150, they are in the right to demand a certain atmosphere when they're doing their shopping. Now, the one buying the €1 t-shirt doesn't expect to have the luxury feeling of when they're spending 150, but they do expect to have a certain amount of respect for the customer. I think that's an important phrase, respect for the customer. We've tended to forget the customer, we've tended to forget the retail recently, and I think we need to get back to this, back to basics.